Hey y'all, Irix guy here, and I thought this would probably be the best way to explain how to do this. And this is how to pack a frame pack for backpacking. Now I've emptied everything out of it, and I do have some things attached right here on the side. I've got my rain cover for my frame pack, specifically fitted to fit this frame pack. That's super important because if it does start raining, you don't want all your gear to get wet. And then also I've got a compass hanging on the back, and then on the inside of it, of the top part, I've got my magnesium fire starter secured to the keychain part of the pack. And you would never want to go into the wilderness without one of these, because if you do run out of matches or your lighter gets wet, this can be a lifesaver. So without further ado, we're going to start from start to finish. So what I put in first, and this right here is super lightweight. This is a down sleeping bag, and it's I found down to be the best for cold weather because it's lighter to pack. It's a lot more compressed. You can see how small this is. And if I had a this is the stuff sack that it came in, but if I had a different stuff sack, I could probably even compress it more. So I'm going to put that on the bottom of my pack, obviously, because that's what I'll use to sleep in after I set up my tent. So in this particular pack I have, it's got a way to unzip the bottom to make it more convenient. Check the link within this video's description. You can find some of the backpacking gear that I use. You probably won't be able to find it all there because some of it I've had for a while. So I'm putting my sleeping bag in here, in the very bottom. And then this particular pack has a little zipper piece that'll further compress it. So that's nice to be able to keep that out of the way. I mean, again, ultimately, that's used for sleeping. So it's something that I shouldn't have to deal with until I pitch my tent. So it's on the very bottom. It's secured. Now what I can do is start loading my other gear. And zip this back up. Okay, that's zipped. So I've got some, obviously I'll be wearing clothes when I hike. Layers are crucial for backpacking because you can shed them when you're on the trail. I'm going to take this right here. This is kind of a fleece type thing. I'm taking some fleece pants, taking a fleece beanie, and then I'm also taking a pair of waterproof pants and a waterproof jacket. Should it rain, rain gear is super important. There's nothing worse than being wet and cold in the middle of the wilderness. I'm also taking an extra pair of socks. To be further proactive, I'm putting this in the stuff sack. Even though if it starts raining, I'll have my rain fly on the outside of my pack. It's super important to have that extra peace of mind that there's a dry pair of clothes to change into. Because keep in mind, what you're wearing that gets wet, especially if you're on a multi-day trip, there's always an opportunity to let it dry and then change back into it. But you always need a dry pair of clothes, because if it rained all day and you couldn't get dry until you got into your tent, you would definitely need a dry pair of clothes. So that's why I'm folding these up compactly rather, and I'm putting them inside of the stuff sack. And this also functions as a way to keep things better organized, because you know that all of your gear, once you arrive at your camp and you're in your tent, this is what you'll want to reach for. And then also, I want to put a pair of gloves in there. Because when you're inside of your tent, if you get cold, you need those gloves. In addition to that, I need some hand warmers. So let's see, where are they? So they're right here. Super important. Know where your stuff is. And then there's a flashlight that I'll use specifically inside of the tent. LED flashlight also functions as a cell phone charger. So I'm going to put it in with my sleeping supplies, so I know where it is. And that keeps everything consolidated. Now I've got room for more in there, but I don't have to use that space if I don't want to. So I can just close that up, let the air out, and that can be my next layer on top of my sleeping bag. Because again, I shouldn't need this until I get ready to go to sleep in the tent. So that's got the clothes to sleep in covered. The next thing I want to do, I want to have my rain gear, but I want to have my rain gear on top of that, so I don't have to dig to get it. It's very accessible. It's on top of my sleeping clothes. So I've got my rain gear there. You gotta take toilet paper. Well, I don't want to be in the woods without it. So I put that inside the pack towards the top where it's easy to get to, but it's inside, so it should stay dry. Put that in there. Next thing I got some charging cables. One for my camera and one for my iPhone. I'm not going to put these in the main compartment. I'm going to put them in this top part so I can get to that if I need it. And if you're not doing a multi-day camp and you got the luxury of extra weight and bulk, this is some camper's toilet paper that's in a waterproof type thing. I'm putting it in there just for peace of mind in my top compartment. And then also matches, a lighter. Make sure it's not an old lighter. I've got one that's brand new, unused. And then I've also got some other ones. It had just never been used. I had to break it in. Make sure your lighter works. Make sure you've got an extra one. Make sure you've got matches. And again, the magnesium fire starter that we already looked at. Take some chewing gum. Keep things, in lieu of not brushing my teeth. Be nice. And then maybe even an extra thing of matches. Why not? Headlamps. They're the optimal way, in my opinion, to have light around the campfire, and you just wear it on your head when it's turned off. Check, make sure you got a charge on it, and then take extra batteries too. But should my headlamp go out, I've got the light stick that I packed in my sleeping compartment. These right here are a must. This is a straw that I can put into any stream and drink the water and feel somewhat safe that I won't get Giardia or any other sort of problem. It's a life-saving tool. Never leave home without it. Obviously a map. I'm going to a wilderness area. It's called the Sipsey Wilderness. So I've got a very detailed map. But I'm also taking a GPS, and that happens to be built into my phone. So that's a must that you have that. So, this has, and in luxury items, if you've got room, this right here is a sleeping pad. It inflates. Again, if you've got room, these are things that can make your stay in the wilderness more comfortable. So I do. So I'm only going for one night. on this trip. So I put that in there. And then that leaves me plenty of room for food, water, drinks on the side as well. So that's how to pack a Framepack. And it's, you know, again, just think about everything you'll need throughout your hike and throughout your stay overnight, and pack in that order. And then that way, if, like right now, if I need to reach in and get my rain gear, it's right on the top. But if I needed to get my sleeping bag, that wouldn't be quickly accessible because it's at the bottom. That's something I wouldn't be using until I went to sleep after I pitched my tent. And that was the other thing I failed to mention, is that once you put all your gear inside, your tent can go on the bottom. This is my one-person tent right there. And then as an added luxury, I've got the blue thing, which has a camper's chair, lightweight chair. So again, an optional item if you're not doing a multi-day trip. You may be able to pack those extra luxuries like chairs and sleeping pads. One thing I did fail to mention is a very warm coat, and obviously this is dependent upon the weather conditions. But this right here is a down coat, and you'll see how well this compresses here. I'm going to put it in this pocket. You don't want to leave a down coat compressed when it's not in transport, but when you are going on your hike, it's perfectly acceptable to compress your down coat. And down's just a very lightweight and warm material. So again, what I was talking about earlier with the layers, you know, this makes, when it's dark or when it's really cold, this makes putting a layer of warmth on your upper body possible. And again, if you wanted to, if it was raining and it was cold, you could have this between your rain jacket and your shirt. So look at how well that compressed. It's a very warm jacket. So thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe and enjoy all of my backpacking videos. It's youtube.com/iRiskGuy. Y'all have a good day.